Hello, my entrepreneurs and my small business owners and my future entrepreneurs and small business owners. Welcome to Better Minds, Better Business with Coach Shylise, giving you some more tips about making your business just that much better. So, today's episode is about creating systems and how important systems are to your business, okay? Because a lot of businesses start up and we don't necessarily have a system in place because we're so focused on trying to get our businesses off the ground. But once we get them off the ground and once everything gets going, it's extremely important to have systems in place. And we're talking financial systems, we're talking security systems, we're talking product systems, we're talking staffing and hiring systems. All of these systems need to be in place. And the reason why they need to be in place is because you want to be able to create value in your company. And in order to create value, you have to have these systems in place because if you want to open up another business, if you want to train new staff, things of that nature, having a system is checks and balances for your business. Always, okay? You also want to be able to keep your staff focused on what they do best. If you have a system in place, that means everything is in place. Everybody has a job and everybody knows what to do for that job. And another thing, when you're creating systems, you also have contingency plans in place for when things do go wrong so no one's scrambling and you're not losing time. And having systems in place also helps you train your employees. Okay, it becomes so much easier to train employees. Can you imagine bringing an employee and be like, oh, well, sometimes we do this and sometimes we do that and sometimes we do this and sometimes we do that? You're scrambling, you're rambling, and you have no focus. When an employee comes in, you need to be able to tell them, okay, this is what we do. This is where we clock in at. Everybody gets in line right here. They clock in at this time. This is where we have our lunch. When you leave the office, we leave out of this door. I mean, all of these things have to be in place when we bring on new employees. This is our process for hiring. This is how we bring them in. They go through a 1 week training. Everybody has to go through that 1 week training. Then we do a test to make sure they pass their training, and then we move them on to the next level and put them on our production floor. Whatever that system is, you have to have a system in place because you need to know your checks and balances. If you don't have a system in place, how do you know what went right or what went wrong? And if something did go wrong, where did it go wrong at in the chain? Because if you have a system in place, you'll be able to find that and you'll be able to find it quickly. Okay? The other thing that's important for having a system in place is change becomes so much easier to accomplish. Say that you want to add another product to your line or to your business or something like that. If you have a system in place, all you have to do is incorporate that new product into your system. All you have to do is figure out how that new product works within your system to roll it out. Systems are critical to your business and taking your business to the next level because that's how you're going to move. That's how you're going to take it to the next level. And systems also provide consistency. Okay, everything is consistent, and it goes back to what I'm telling you about checks and balances, right? If you have a plumbing business and you say an order comes in, okay, this is our system. From phone call to arrival. When we receive a phone call, Kathy takes the information. She writes it on our information form. She documents everything. She takes that form. That form is then delivered over to Sarah's desk. Sarah then dispatches the plumber to go out into the home, and all this has to happen between call to dispatch. Our policy is it doesn't happen. It shouldn't take no more than an hour. And once he gets to the home, the customer home, our system at that point that he's to check in to dispatch and let them know that he arrived so that everything is in place. Okay? So these are the things that we have to these are the kinds of things that we have to do in order to keep our businesses running efficiently. Okay? So if something goes wrong, or if a customer isn't seen in time, or anything, you can see where that went wrong. Well, Judy took the call. What happened? Oh, it was lost at my desk. Or no, I sent it over to Katie and she should have dispatched it. You will be able to find where that problem is, and you'll be able to find where it is quickly in the chain. So having a system in place will roll everything out. A packaging system, who's handling quality control, when does it go to the floor, who's the person in charge of shipping things out, who's the person in charge of packaging, how long does that take? All of these systems have to be identified, they have to be written out, and they have to be distributed to your employees and your staff. That is extremely, extremely critical. This is how you're going to grow your business. You need an HR system in place, a recruitment system in place, meaning your HR and recruitment will go together, like how we're going to handle that. Then you want a security system in place. How do people get in and out of your building? That's a system. Do you just let anybody in the building, or is there a system in place? Everybody comes in through the back. All employees go through the back door. They have a passcode. In order to get that passcode is distributed through HR. HR will also take that passcode away. You see, so all of these systems, it takes some time out to sit down and think about your business and how does that work. Same thing with checks and balances. Not checks and balances, accounts receivable and accounts payable. How is that system? How are you paying your bills? How are the bills getting paid? Are they just landing on somebody's desk and you hope for the best that someone is paying it? Or does the mail come through the receptionist? She opens it, she vets it, she stamps it, then she gives all the bills over to your accounts payable person. She writes all the checks. She writes the checks, stamps them to the bill. Attaches them to the bill, and then give that bill and the printed out check to the CEO. They will then vet that bill, make sure that it's the accurate amount. They will then sign it and then give it over to the next person, who will then stuff the envelope, mark it as paid, file it away, and it's gone. So if anything goes wrong, if the amount of money isn't right, there's checks and balances there. And that's great for auditing as well, because you don't want the same person writing the check, signing the check, and mailing the check. It's always great. General accepted accounting principles to have more than one person involved in the writing of the checks. The bills, because you want somebody to be able to see the bill. This is what the bill is. Write that bill for $84. The CEO then looks at the bill. Yes, it's $84. Here's the bill for $84. Here's the check for $84. I'm going to sign it and then hand it off for mailing. So that's just a quick system in place. And having these kinds of systems in place are extremely critical, as you could tell. So that's accounts payable. Now let's go to accounts receivable. What if you have invoices out there? What if you have money out there sitting on the table and people owe you? What is that system in collecting that money? What is your system in collecting those funds? When an invoice goes out to a customer, what is your system as far as collecting those funds? Do you just leave it on the customer? Okay, we're going to allow him to pay it. Now, what if the 30 days go by and it's not paid? Who follows up? What is the system where you follow up on overdue, outstanding payments? That system has to be in place. How that goes: we give a customer an invoice. If it's not due upon receipt, say it's due within 30 days, how long past that 30 days do you follow up? Or is our system, we give them an invoice, it's due in 30 days. 1 week prior to the due date, we send out a courtesy email. Hey, Mr. Johnson, just wanted to remind you that your invoice is due on August 22nd. That's our policy. We always send out a courtesy email 7 days before the due date. And then the next level of our system is after the 30 days, if it is still not paid, we within 72 hours, we will then send another email. Okay, if the email is not replied to within 24 to 48 hours, we will then make a phone call. That should be the process in place. And how long after are you just going to chase this man for a whole year over this invoice? And what's the next part of the system where it's handed over into collections, and how is that handled? These are just examples of systems. It all depends on your business and what you're running. But I guarantee you, I don't care if you have a shoe shine business, if you are producing shoelaces, if you are making ceilings for a living, everything needs a system in place. You cannot just, run around and do a bunch of guesswork. Number one, you're wasting a lot of time. If you don't have a system in place, you're wasting time. And time is money. So if you have a system in place, especially if you have a workshop, oh my God, it's nothing worse than going into a business with a workshop with no system. Because it takes twice as long to produce whatever they're producing. If you're trying to produce shoes, if you have no system in this workshop, you don't have a specific place where the shoe soles are, the top of the shoes, the shoe strings, it's just all over the place. That means you're running around. You're probably wasting about 20, 30 minutes looking for shoe soles. When if you had a system in place, you already know directly where to go to. And this is where we keep our shoe soles. And this is size 7 through 10, and this is size so-and-so through so-and-so. You know where to go. It's no guesswork there. That means you could just do your job, or your employee can do their job to the best of their ability. Do you see that? Just take a moment and think about that system that you can have in place. Just think, man, if I wake up tomorrow and just had the perfect system in place for my business, what could that do for my business? What could that do for my time? Think about the time that you're wasting because you don't have a system in place. Think about the time you're wasting because you're trying to think and remember, oh, yeah, that's right. I had to go over there and do this. Oh, yeah, that's right. I had to go install TVs over here. I almost forgot. You cannot operate like that. You need to operate on a system that works for your business, that is clear. Now, some of you out there listening may say, well, that works for me, all my scrambled papers in my front seat. It really doesn't. It's been getting you by. But if you streamline your business and put a system in place, I guarantee you, you will see a total 180 difference. A 180 difference in your business and in your time. You'll have more time for your business and more time to build your business. So think about that. Systems for employees, systems for your product, systems for your security, systems for your financing. You need these things in order to grow. Even if you're a one-man band, you need a system in place in how you do things. If you're designing t-shirts, are you designing t-shirts all day, all night? And you have no time to do anything else? No, you create a system. This is when I'll make this amount of t-shirts on this day. I'll do this amount of t-shirts on this day. I'll keep... You got to create that system so that you're not a stressed out entrepreneur or business owner, because that's another thing that it's going to do, is going to alleviate so much stress off of you if you just create the system that you need for your business. If you create what's going to work for you. And I want you to remove the fluff and the willy-nilly and all of these things that you've put in there, and realize that if you create a system and stick to that system, you can't lose. Checks and balances, easier to train employees, easier to hire employees, easier to scale your business, easier to introduce new products, keeping up with your bills, and collecting your money. That's what having a system can do. Think about that, entrepreneurs. I want you to take some time. I want you to get motivated. I want you to know that I love you and I love your business and I want it to grow, okay? So think about the system that you need right now. I want you guys to take some time out. I want you to write that down. And if you're a future business owner or future entrepreneur, keep that in the back of your mind when you're thinking about building your business. What kind of system am I going to put in place so that I can build and scale my business? What kind of system am I going to put in place to make it easier to train the help that I'm going to need? What kind of system that I can put in place to make sure that I collect my money and pay the people that's owed? Okay? Thank you guys for listening. I hope the information that I delivered for you today was extremely helpful. I enjoyed putting it together. Also, check Better Minds, betterbusiness.com. We will soon be having a systems workshop. It will be detailed systems creating in all of those sections that I put out there for you and giving you steps and guides on how to create those systems. Have a great day. Coach Shylise.